Yes, y'all. You know what it is. Hey, it's Taco Tuesday. You know how I know it's Taco Tuesday? Because if you see my face and you see that man's face, that's the man, Randy Weber. We are here to talk sports, baby. Hey, there's a new feather in the cap for the bronnies, the bronsexuals. They got a new feather in the cap. We'll talk about that. Matter of fact, we're going to lead off the show with that. Obviously, we're going to get some reactions to NFL action week 2. Hey, a lot to discuss. You know what it is. It's me, Wildcard Mar. It's the homie, Randy Weber. It's the I.O.W. Sports Show Late Night Owl Edition. It's episode 44. Let's get busy.
Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, Late Night Edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar.
Yes, sir. That's right. We are here Taco Tuesday because myself, Wildcard Mar, is back in the building, and I got the homie Randy Weber with me. I'm so excited and get a little tongue-tied. It's because we got some good sports to talk about. As I stated in the intro, them bronsexuals are gone to another level. We'll discuss that in just a minute. Obviously, we got to react to a lot of the headlines coming out of NFL Week 2. But before we get started, y'all know what the deal is. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification to the I.O.W. Sports Network YouTube channel. Go to all social media platforms and follow us, I.O.W. Sports Network. Follow me on Twitter for all the content that I'll be dropping. Casey Walker on the Twitter. And, of course, if you need audio needs, my man Randy Weber got you. Panther on Acid on Instagram. I think I plugged in everything. Randy Weber, my brother, how are you doing, sir? What's good, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. I opened when we started talking before the show that both of our teams at this moment have the same record, and we're gonna talk about that because nobody expected that. I was prepared for pain. I have to reintroduce you to what it's like to deal with sports pain, because you haven't for a while.
My baseball team, they're managing to keep me painfully in pain. The Kansas City Royals are, and I've been making a plea to them for the last week on all my social media channels, and they have blatantly ignored me. So they continue to give me pain. So I kind of feel that pain with them. The Lakers have been giving me some pain.
True.
Too.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the football world, I've been getting so much joy that it overshadows all that pain that I've been getting, everything else. So now that they are actually starting to piss on my parade, it's kind of like everything else is walls closing in on me of sorrow and pain right now. So bear with me, y'all. Just all right. Just bear with me.
We're gonna have a character arc for you of gradually learning how to accept team losses with all the bum teams where we live.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of one of those pains that are for me, and it's not necessarily him, it's his fan base that comes with him, is similar to the Swifties, similar to the Beehive, is similar to, cult-like followings. the bronnies, the bronsexuals, however you want to call them, whatever. They exist, and they are a real faction, a cult, clique, whatever you want to call them. They do exist. But I wanted to bring this up to Randy because a couple of weeks back, Basketball Hall of Fame, shout out to Dwight Howard. He got in. Shout out to some other guys. But NBA, well deserved, especially Dwight Howard. Let's not sneeze on Dwight Howard's career. Go actually look at his accolades and see what he did at the point in time, at that period of basketball. He was dominant. All right, he was the dominant big man. All right, let's call it spade a spade. All right, so now we got that out the way. In Basketball Hall of Fame is doing something that me and you are used to seeing in the WWE wrestling world, where you can get in not just by yourself, but if you were a part of something, part of a faction, contributed something in some type of way, not necessarily in the ring, but part of a faction, you can get inducted in that. Like they've, you got several people who are 2 or 3 time Hall of Famers in the wrestling world now because they got in by themselves and then they got in being part of like a dope faction or something or something that significant. So pretty much NBA now, they're doing that now. They just put in the Redeem Team, 2008 Redeem Team. So that makes Kobe Bryant a 2-time Hall of Famer. That makes Carmelo Anthony a 2-time Hall of Famer. Dwight Howard was part of that team, I believe, and that makes him a 2-time Hall of Famer. And now that he just got in by himself, but he also went in with the Redeem Team. And with that makes Chris Paul and LeBron James the only 2 active NBA players to be in the Hall of Fame. And reason why I want to talk about this, Randy, is because obviously, we've had discourse about, GOAT conversation, blase, and to nauseam extensions, whether it was between us or just in general in sports conversation. We've all have beaten
We've
that.
all had that. Every even political figures get asked what they think of MJ versus LeBron.
Yes.
It will stand the dawn of time.
Oh, it'll probably be going on till forever. Unfortunately, but the conversation took a turn, and the reason why I think it took a turn is because, and congratulations to LeBron being the only active, and Chris Paul only active NBA players to be in the Hall of Fame. Hey, he got the jacket, cool. I know people are going to poo-poo on how he got it. He got it, all right. Period. And
they both of them will undoubtedly be a 2-time Hall of Famer when they retire.
Yeah. They just happen to choose this year to start doing the, teams and whatnots. But regardless, he's in there. Randy, when I say the moment that before LeBron even finished his damn Hall of Fame speech, the discourse on X, Instagram, Facebook, anything that has to do with social media, the bronsexuals came out in droves. And you know exactly what they said. This is why he's the GOAT. He just did something that no way impossible Jordan could do. Well, duh, Jordan's been retired for 20 plus years. First of all, of course he can't be the only active NBA player in the Hall of Fame. He ain't been active for 20 plus years. What are we doing? Randy, when I say the discourse took another level just because he got put in to that Hall of Fame on the team situation. And look, I'm not going to poo-poo that. I'm mad that you damn bronsexuals are literally going to take any feather in the cap to elevate LeBron over Jordan. Randy, I thought the shit was crazy, bro. I thought it was asinine. I thought it was like, come on now. We really doing this?
Yeah, no, I mean it's stupid. Like there's no other way to put it. That the idea that he's better than Michael Jordan because he got inducted while being an active player. First of all, it's not like if they were going to start doing teams, there are so many teams. If you want Michael Jordan to be a 2-time Hall of Famer, if we're doing teams,
They could have
you
been.
could put the Dream Team in there. You
Yep.
could put to any one of his championship Bulls teams.
Any of those 6.
Yeah, also right. Like it's they just happened to do this now. But if they went back and retroactively brought in any team that would have been worthy of being a Hall of Fame team, Michael Jordan has several. So it's stupid. Like they're obviously reaching, and like I get it. I think that LeBron is one of those figures that gets way too much of a reaction on either side. There are people that have like a cult-like love for him, like we're talking about, and then there are also the people who viscerally and irrationally hate him. They pretend that he's not even a top 10 player all time. Like they just like seemingly personally hate him, and both of those things are nuts. The fact is, he is an all-time great player. He is a top 10 player. I have him number 2 all time. I think that Jordan is in a class by himself. And then I think that you go to the next group. LeBron James is, I think, closer to like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Wilt Chamberlain than he is to Michael Jordan, in my opinion. But I think, and that seems to be the consensus at this point. You know, there are more and more people that are saying like, no, LeBron is the GOAT. But right now, I think the majority would say that he's number 2. And I think that's fair. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And the fact that they're trying this desperately to grab onto things, there are arguments. If I believed that LeBron was the GOAT and I wanted to construct an argument to make that case, there are things you could point to. There are ways you can make that argument. Why you would grasp onto something like this, I don't understand.
Not this one. There's a lot of things, like you said, there's a lot of things I would have went to first to show how great LeBron was. Just the fact that he got, you know, I don't want to say lucked upon a situation where he gets a Hall of Fame jacket because they decided to put in a team. No, I'm not going to say that. But at the same time, it's kind of like, come on now. Like, he look, if we're being honest, do we even have that redeemed team conversation if Kobe doesn't come back, play for the Olympics that year? I don't think we do. You know, and look, because and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I think I don't know if they put in the dream team yet.
No, they haven't.
Okay, which is odd. So why? And that's here. I think that's a bigger question we should be asking. Why this team over so many other good teams in literally the history of basketball?
Oh, hold on. I just double checked. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Dream Team is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, like, I guess it's just because it's the Olympics. Maybe they're like doing it as like its own thing because they're not comparing it to NBA teams. Like it's so much its own thing. But when you start getting into teams, right? Like we talked about, like I don't know, a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, the greatest NBA teams of all time. If we want to start talking about teams, there are teams we could put in there. And I think that would be an interesting thing for them to start doing if they start taking NBA teams and putting them in there. But yeah, I mean,
you know, like, that bronsexuals more ammo because you know they're going to put in that 2016 Cavs team.
Yeah, but that actually might work against LeBron also because one of the biggest arguments I think for Jordan over LeBron is look at the team players that LeBron won championships with, and then look at the ones that Michael Jordan won championships with. You know, if you want to put the Miami Heat, the big 3 Miami Heat championships in there, then okay, then you're acknowledging these great teams that LeBron won with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen. You know, Michael Jordan just didn't have players of that. Well, yeah, and as a whole roster, he didn't. You know, Scottie Pippen was a great number 2, but he's not Dwayne Wade.
Come on, Ray Allen's your 6th man. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like Ray Allen, in his own right, in my opinion, is a top 50 player of all time. If he's that low on your depth chart,
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're going to put the greatest teams ever, then you kind of have to acknowledge that LeBron did have more help throughout his career than Michael Jordan did, and did not win as much and as dominantly as Michael Jordan did with less help.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Dog, I had to just bring that up to your attention, man, because I just think that the discourse was crazy, man. And look, obviously, I have my preference. Am I a big Bron fan? No, I've never been a big Bron fan. All right, but one, I will never discredit his greatness. All right, I will never discredit his greatness, because I think if you, like you said, there's two sides of that coin. Either you are overly, happy and excited and love and overstimulated about LeBron, or you're on the opposite end where you just can't stand him. And there's, like you said, there's severe levels of people that just blatantly just hate him. And I'm not at that level. I'm just literally like, I can appreciate what he's done for the game of basketball. I appreciate his greatness, but he's not my GOAT. And I'm okay with saying that. Two things can be right at the same time. I cannot prefer him, but still recognize his greatness. That's just me. All right. But it's I just think in today's age of a sports media, sports talk, content creating, things that we do, things that even on the bigger scales that they do, sometimes people forget to stop overreaching to make something bigger than what it doesn't need. LeBron name is infamous. It's going to be forever. You don't need y'all glazing him to this level. Whoa, look at how great he is. He's active in Hall of Famer. Oh, okay. Congrats. Yes, it
also
does.
He's not the only one to do that now. Is Chris Paul the GOAT?
Thank you. They're not giving that same attention to Chris Paul. And I understand that Chris Paul will never be on that same level in the same breath and talked about in the same manner as LeBron.
No, of course not. Yeah.
I understand that.
But that's the hole in their argument is like, well, if Chris Paul was able to accomplish this, why does this hold so much weight as to put LeBron over Michael Jordan when Chris Paul, who's not in that debate as great as he was
at all,
also did this,
and not even mentioned. Not even mentioned. They're not the people who are going to big up LeBron. Are you going to be the same way to add that to a feather in Chris Paul's cap when it comes down to talk about his legacy? Because if we are, keep that same energy. If we not, keep the same energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep it consistent. Keep it consistent.
Like, a lot of these people are probably going to say, well, now Chris Paul's the top 3 point guard of all time. And it's just like, that's probably the furthest you could go. But that's a lot to say that if you really think that this holds that much weight, you have to say that Chris Paul is at least a top 3 point guard of all time. If you ask these people, they're probably not going to commit to that.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Because I matter of fact, I infinity agree with you. Not just 100. I think that's come on. We got to keep that same energy, folks. I just think the discourse around sports has gotten so, let's see who can come up with the quickest bait of all time. Who can come up with the, that grabs everybody's attention and get them talking and conversating. And y'all got me, because I saw y'all fool talking about Brian in such a crazy way because he got that Hall of Fame jacket. I said, oh, hell no. I said, damn it, I gotta talk about it. And I held it off because I was like, you know what? Let me have this conversation with bro, because I think this is crazy, bro. Like we didn't even reach October. We didn't even reach October before they start talking the crazy basketball talk. We didn't even reach October, bro. Come on. Like y'all gonna get y'all a chance to sign in a few more weeks when y'all kick off the season. But damn it, y'all couldn't wait.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, there is also that kind of that age gap barrier that plays a lot of a role into it. Like, it's going to be the people who actually might decide that they think CP3 is the third best, because it's going to be like people around my age or younger that are on the bronze side of that debate typically. And like, then you have the people who were watching in the 90s and anyone older, and they're the ones that hate LeBron typically. They hate him so much that I don't know if you saw that picture that has been going around on the internet of LeBron wearing like the French maid's outfit.
Yes.
There have been so many people that really believe that that's real. And it's like, you have to hate a man so much to look at that and be like, I need no further corroboration. That is real as far as I'm concerned, especially whoever made it.
I don't know, bro.
But it's funny as hell.
I wouldn't put him past him. The man said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party."
I feel like that definitely helped get that around.
I ain't gonna put it past him, Rand. The man said, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party." So, if you saying something like that, then you've been to a couple of Diddy parties.
Look, I'm not saying he's never worn a French maid's outfit. I'm just saying that picture is not real.
Oh, that picture's wild, bro. That picture is wild. But I'm just saying, hey, I mean, if you enjoy your Diddy parties, then by all means, just don't get mad if you get exposed. That's all. But excuse me.
Damn, that's your small forward right there. that is your team captain. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, couldn't be me. But
and Lakers fans, other Lakers fans give me hell, Randy, because I always stand on this hill that, man, and I get it. During COVID, everybody got that same amount of break. But I just think if you put it in the context, a guy like Anthony Davis, who's been fragile, a guy like LeBron, who has a lot of tread on those tires, and you give them a 3-month break, how can they not come back rejuvenated? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that was everything. Of course, LeBron's going to come out, with a lot of, spring in his step in that bubble. Of course, it was going to be a fresher Anthony Davis. He didn't get a chance to hurt himself. So, I mean, come on. I don't know. That was just me. I kind of felt that way. And just for me, the reason why I never really cared to have LeBron on the team is because I understand how he operates when it comes to the team. I know the GM thing is a joke, but I think there's some real truth that comes to that because let's be honest. A guy of his stature and his caliber, why would you not ask him for input on the roster? He's going to be
sure.
Forward. You know what I'm saying?
He was a big part in getting Anthony Davis, and look, I mean that typically happens with those like high veteran players, right? We say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. We say the same thing about KD. Like they're the people that push their head offices around. Yeah, LeBron absolutely does too. I mean, I will say, like, he won a championship with them. Yeah. I don't discredit that championship the way that a lot of people do. Like they would have had home court advantage and they ended up losing it. So you could argue that they were disadvantaged in some aspects during that whole thing. But irregardless of that, yeah, I mean, you could argue that maybe outside of that 1 year, the team didn't benefit that much in the long term from having him. I think there's a debate to say that.
And that's the part that really gets me. It's the long term, is because the moment you acquire LeBron James, you might not even have that same roster even going into opening day. You know what I'm saying? So even by the time even if you get to opening day with that same roster, there's a good possibility by trade deadline that's going to change because once he gets to playing with him and he figures out, yeah, that guy just doesn't match with my game. Neither does he. I like what he does. Let's keep him. The other two, ship him.
Yeah. And that was what happened with the Russ situation, right? Like you can give him credit for helping to get Anthony Davis on the team, then you got to blame him for the whole Russ debacle.
Which, by the way, I've been becoming a more Russ fan lately. Later in his career. I think he got a raw deal in LA.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of good winning pieces there. And Russ plays the way that he plays. He's going to give max effort regardless. And I just think that kind of rubbed Brown the right way because he's trying to be more realistic. And Russ, I've even seen some of the locker room little banter. Russ is like, "Come on, let's go out there, give effort, have fun." And then kind of like he's getting a side eye from Bron, like, hey, shut up. So it's kind of, so I just think they just didn't mesh well. But shout out to Omar Balls and Bud. Hey, look, we had to talk about it, is because they was talking reckless. The bronsexuals merely are taking the GOAT debate to another level because LeBron is an active Hall of Famer. They took it to another level. I don't know if you saw it on the interwebs, but it's been crazy. So we had to talk about it. But as we move on and move on to another topic, obviously we talk about Brian having a piece and a feather in the cap. He has a stature of quote unquote Tom Brady. I'm gonna pull this up because I'm gonna do a callback. I did another callback last night to last night's show. This was episode 408, and this is how long ago is this? Nearly a year ago. All right. Tom Brady has already purchased the his stake in the Raiders, and this conversation came up, and it pretty much came up again this past weekend. But let's take a listen to literally what I talked about a year ago. Fiction. Like, did y'all hear about this? So obviously Tom Brady ain't playing no more, and he's about to be in the booth, announcement booth. But he got some restrictions. I thought it was crazy. Let's take a listen to this.
Here's the situation. Other owners have objected to him being a partial owner of the Raiders and being a broadcaster, considering, let's just say, Tom Brady is assigned to the #1 game that week. And let's just say Tom Brady, his Raiders are playing the Chiefs. How can you have a guy who's a partial owner of the team go to Chiefs practice or sitting on meetings? You can't do that. So other owners have objected to that type of thing. And they said, if he's approved as the owner, they're going to have to put in place certain rules, which, I mean, again, you'd like to think somebody would be professional enough to abide by that. But again, he's owning the team. He'd be a partial owner of the team. So teams that are going against the Raiders don't want Tom Brady in their broadcast meetings and in their production meetings. They want him.
I want to say this. Just nobody has said the angle that I'm saying, and I can't believe that this isn't what everybody's thought was immediately. So he doesn't have to travel to another city early to watch any practices. He doesn't have to sit in those 4 to 5 hour production meetings on Zoom or in person. He can just show up on game day, call the game, and he's getting paid $350 million, and he owns an NFL team. That sounds like the perfect, and allegedly Tom Brady's camp not happy because he wants to be over-prepared and he wants to see and everything like that.
By the way, as a color analyst, and I've never been an analyst, so I don't know this, and I've been in some production meetings in my life back when I was the initial sideline reporter for NFL Network Thursday night games with Brian Gumbel.
I remember that. I remember you back there. Yeah.
Back in the day. So, you go through those production meetings. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't want to be an analyst for a game, a play-by-play man for a game, a sideline reporter for a game, and not go through those meetings.
Yeah, but he'll get a transcript. He'll get the right.
I guess. I mean, I guess they would send him the transcript. No, they wouldn't. If he's the partial owner of the Raiders, because those meetings are very candid and honest, and coaches tell you what they think of players and what they're planning to do and how they want to attack that team. No, he's not going to get the transcripts of those meetings.
So, that was a year ago, and Tom Brady was in the booth this past weekend. Obviously, he's in the Raiders booth, being part owner. And some people still kind of got a little bit upset about it. Just kind of give me your thought process. They have put restrictions on Tom, obviously saying, yes, you are a commentator for Fox, but you're still, they're trying to not have the conflict of interest. But I just think the moment that they approved him for the minority ownership, they put themselves in a weird pickle, in a real situation that is gonna hard to not look like you don't do funny business. So what's your thoughts on just Tom being in the booth, obviously doing double duty as a commentator and all that. It kind of give me your thought process.
So, first of all, I think that if you have a potential issue with conflict of interest, taking the Deflategate guy, taking the Spygate guy, and being like, "Nah, we can trust him. We can." Conflict of interest. This is the most honest, most integrity-filled man we could possibly have in this position. Why don't the other 31 teams trust him? That's crazy. So there's that, first of all. Second of all, okay, so when I first heard about it, it was kind of hard for me to figure out exactly what the issue was, how him being a commentator would have that much of an effect on his
ownership.
Yeah, but I mean, I can see ways in which, like, it, because like the whole Spygate thing was like he was going to practices and them, like, he's right there at every single other team's game, including team rivals.
Yep.
There's the issue with the meetings, like, I can get why it makes other teams a bit nervous. I don't know if it's a huge deal. I would probably, maybe if he was a majority owner, I would say no, like that's too much of in both hands. But I guess maybe as a minority owner, maybe I'm struggling to see why it's a huge threat to the security of the other teams. But maybe you can tell me your perspective and convince me.
So I'm actually looking at this at both sides. All right. I understand the other owners' trepidation, like you alluded to, and there's some history with his name attached to it. That some red flags. If this was the dating world, yeah, Shorty already got red flags. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely take that into account. Definitely. Obviously, I actually looking at this situation where his ownership is a hindrance to his side gig, which is being a commentator. Because of the fact that he is a minority owner, and it does bode you or benefit you financially for having a successful team. I mean, regardless, if you're ownership or any stake in an NFL team, you're winning. You can go 0 for 17. Trust me, you're still going to make money. So that's not the problem. But it does behold you if you have certain cachet, your team's looking good, marquee matchups. It does help the revenue. And so, but you look at it that way, hey, you're getting a certain advantage as an owner over our ownership, because you're having this information, and that's why I didn't mind putting the restrictions on him as a commentator because of his ownership, because I just think that's it, and I'm looking at it that side. But here's the other side that I was looking at it, Randy. At the end of the day, yes, Tom Brady can probably give his coach Pete Carroll some advice, but Pete Carroll's a Super Bowl winning coach, been to 2 Super Bowls, won some national champions in college level. I think he knows how to coach. So what advantage possibly could Tom give to Pete Carroll that he probably didn't think of? So that's what I'm kind of looking at that coin. Like, okay, Pete Carroll, he's been around the block. Like, I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. How much advantage can he really get from having Tom? Pete Carroll, and the thing is you talking about, and I get it, there's a lot of information that's shared in those production meetings, and probably some things that are going to be a reflection of what happens, for the game. But again, it's Pete Carroll as the coach. He knows football. I'm pretty sure the game plan of the oppositions of what they probably want to do, he's already filmed that out, because he needs to game plan his team for the opposition. So I'm kind of looking at it like,
So this is another angle that I thought of that actually directly relates to what happened this past game with the Chiefs and the Eagles. He has an invested interest in the results of games, and he's commentating on games. Now, because of the way in which this happened, it probably doesn't reflect obvious anything, but it could. Remember when he was calling the Eagles out for obviously false starting, obviously being offsides early for the tush push? Now, we'll see what ends up happening with that because
Randy,
hold on. Let me go through this.
You know what's about to happen.
Let me. Okay, so let me walk you through this. Let's walk the audience through this.
Let's walk.
He now has the ability, essentially. He has the bully pulpit of the opinions and commentary of games that now the audience is listening to, and he was able to commentate. He was able to point that out, and now there's probably going to be a response. They might end up with another vote over whether the tush push will be banned again, or at least just refed correctly. And Tom Brady basically was able to do that. Now, he did that in the benefit of a division rival, but what if next time he doesn't? And like, if he points out something that's beneficial to the Raiders and gets a discourse and conversation talking, the NFL may have to respond to that, and that's now a power that he has.
That's why, bro. That's why you the dog, all right? Because everything you just said right there. Shout out to my man Chris Dow, Airhead Chief Podcast. He said a similar take. He pretty much said what you said, but in a different way. He basically said, now that Tom has said something, they about to do something about this. It's pretty much gone. Because, and you just said it right there, it's power in the tongue, folks. It's power in the tongue. And words can be said by any and everybody. You know why? Because we all can talk, and whatever. We all got the platforms. It's who says it. The message matters from who delivers it. All right. And that vote was put up on the owners. He's a part owner. All right. There were 10 teams that voted against the tush push. Guess who was part of the 22? Tom and the Raiders. That wanted it gone. They wanted the tush push gone.
Voted against banning it, you mean? Like the 22 voted for banning it.
Yes, voted for banning it.
Yes.
He's part of it. Him and the Raiders are part of the 22 that wanted it banned. Wanted the tush push banned. Get it out of there. So he's already voiced his opinion as the owner. That was the owner, Tom Brady, talking right there. Because those owner meetings, and I talked about it last night, those owner meetings, and when they go in there and want to amend some rules or make some new ones, that's where it's done. It's not about the actual context of football coaches and football players with their input on what certain rules that need to be put in or things that need to get changed. No, it's owners meeting. He's an owner. That was Tom Brady, the owner, that said that on Sunday. That put emphasis on that on Sunday. That was a message loud and clear that he just delivered on that game. And
now the discourse is around it.
Now the discourse is around it. Exactly. It literally took all the focus on the tush push and is going to be on the Eagles for the rest of the season. It's similar to when Chris Collinsworth called out Jawan Taylor for the Chiefs against the Lions for getting off the line early. And that followed him to be honest, it's still following.
Yeah. He's still the penalty guy.
Still the penalty guy. So now this is about to follow that offense in that particular play because you know it's about to happen. Every 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. And look, I'll definitely get your your opinion about the tush push in general, but for me, I spoke about it last night, and I spoke about it 5 months ago when they was talking about it at donors meeting. I'm okay with the play as long as it's not endangering health. For me, it's not a problem with the play. It's a problem with their lying and saying that they can't officiate it, because guess what? I watched 2 football games last night, Randy. All right. 2 football games on Monday night. And in the latter one, where you had Chargers and Raiders, the Chargers were backed up on their 1-yard line, and they needed space to get away from their end zone. They lined up in a tush push formation. You know how the official officiated? He said, hold up. I'm not getting out of the way of this football right here and letting this play stand until y'all line up correct. He had the Chargers line up correctly. And until they did, he wouldn't move out the way. He finally got out the way when they lined up correctly and said, let the play begin. Mm-hmm. So you showed me that you can officiate it. Don't tell me you can't officiate it. You know why you can? Because if you use those same 2 eyes that you always look down the line of scrimmage that you always do on any other play, and you can see that the guys move before the football, hey, you know what you do? Throw a flag, blow a whistle, false start. Don't feed me the bullshit that you can't officiate it, because you can't. And Dean Blandino, hey, love what he brings to the commentary. How, when it comes to the officiating part of what calls need to get discussed and whatnot. Cool, I love that part. But don't say, I hate officiating it. Hey, no, y'all.
It's your damn job, bro. Like, I don't care if you hate officiating it. You're an officiator.
It's a play. It's a play. So I don't dislike the Eagles because they have a play and they get at least 85 to 86% success rate on it. I'm not mad at it. Hey, kudos to y'all. It's part of the football game. If you're not allowing it, I'm mad at you, NFL, are trying to have your officials say that they can't officiate, which you just showed me literally 24 hours later after the situation that you can.
It's because they could officiate it when it's not the Eagles. That seems to be why what the issue is, right? Like, they officiated it correctly against a different team. So
it's crazy. And this is not you, but the fact that in the way that you worded that, as in, hey, they can't officiate it right when it comes to Eagles. You know what's crazy? I literally said this somewhere, like literally the whole officiating conversation just switched in an instant to the Eagles. Because I literally, for the last 2 years, had to hear about it against the Chiefs. Oh, the officials this, officials that. I haven't heard a peep since Sunday about anything Chiefs related and referees. It's all the focus and the narrative just switched like that towards the Eagle. But most importantly, it was Tom Brady's voice, like you said, that literally raised that to another level. And the fact that he was the owner and they are a part of the 22 that want to get rid of that play, I think people need to really start connecting the dots. And like, you gotta, some people's voices got power in the NFL. Jerry Jones will be one of them guys on the ownership side, and now Tom Brady, who's now part ownership, he's in that same room. There's going to be some power shifting going on.
Yeah, and I mean, I hate to agree with Tom Brady on anything, but if they end up banning the tush push, I'll be thrilled. Fucking finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, that's one of the biggest issues is it's basically almost always offsides and they never call it. Yeah. It's just, you're just shoving when people Eagles fans want to be like, you guys are underrating Jalen Hurts. You guys are Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Their most famous play is literally the other guys taking him and throwing him over the line with the ball and pushing him at people. Stop. Well, what a symbolic demonstration of carrying.
So let me ask you this, Randy. Obviously, And I try to watch as much as all of the NFL as possible, especially this year, because I've been trying to make it a good part of my content. But just kind of give me your true feelings on how do you feel about just the tush push in general, because obviously you see Eagles a lot more than say the average fan.
It should be banned mainly because fuck the Eagles, but but even outside of it, yeah, it's never officiated correctly. Realistically, the it's a danger argument isn't that compelling to me because football, it is a contact sport. It's a rough sport.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. If it starts getting connected to like CTE or something, then I'll agree with it. But until
that's
then,
too. Until then, let it rock. Until you come up with the medical evidence, the data,
right?
Harmful. Yes, I'm with you.
But like aside from that, it's boring as shit to watch. You know it's coming every single time. It so heavily stops the game. Yeah, no, I think maybe Jalen Hurts should have to try to throw sometimes. I don't know. I think maybe in those situations your quarterback should have to throw instead of just being thrown at the other team by his teammates. That's just me.
No doubt. Like I said, I got no problem with no beef with the play, but I just think I think the uproar is because they're really trying to make it seem like they can't officiate it, and they can, and they proved it, but that won't be brought up. But it is what it is. They're going to definitely listen to Tom Brady on that. Now that he's in the room with ownership, he's in the same room with Jerry Jones. It's going to be interesting to see how some things get approved because and not to say that, Tom Brady, I hopefully because he was a player, he can understand kind of some player griefs and probably can sway some power towards the player. Hopefully, maybe I'm just being too optimistic or being too far-fetched with that one. But I think you hit it on the head. His voice now on that side, and then he gets to express those feelings while calling the game if that certain happenstance comes up. So
yeah. Speaking of that of the Chiefs Eagles game, we just talked about our teams have the same record. You want to talk about Chiefs Eagles and Giants Cowboys, and then get into some of the other games from the weekend?
Yeah, let's get into it. I'll be honest. Had a great time. I was able to get tickets at the last minute. Set pretty relatively close enough that I saw the father-son argument between Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. Travis throwing his helmet. I'm sick of that shit, and literally I could see Andy just literally looking at him like a father, like, if you gonna calm your ass the fuck down,
because I'm sick of your ass fumbling and injuring my receivers.
Yeah, I'm sick of your ass. So he definitely gave him the father look back. And then we talked off air about it, and I'm about to pull up the stats because I need everybody to really truly understand what truly happened at that game, because the offense literally was dead for damn near 3 and a half quarters. But look, if you are a fan of your team and you're facing the Eagles and you have Jalen Hurts go 15 or 22, which is efficient, but only 101 yards. You keep Saquon Barkley at 22 carries, 88 yards. You keep Devontae Smith at 4 catches, 53 yards. A.J. Brown, 5 catches and 27 yards. Literally, if you keep that team at a total offense of production of literally 216 yards, I would say, damn it, we had to have won that game. Your defense, who was the problem last week, showed up this week. Did they get the pressures in the sack that most Chiefs fans wanted? No, but they made it. They made enough issues that they took a lot of. How many top 25 players are on the Eagles teams on that offense? Just right there, right there. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts is on one offense, and all four of those cats combined, you kept them at an offense of 216 yards. I'd take that 10 times out of 10 and say, I got Patrick Mahomes on the outside. Oh, I know we won that game. No, the offense was dead. The play calling was pedestrian. It was boring. It was East and West football. It wasn't going forward. And the shots that they did take, look, Patrick Mahomes in that perfect game, he missed some throws downfield. So he has to work on that. And Bucker, special teams matter, missed the field goal. They lost by 3. That was 3 points right there, missed. So yeah. But I as looking forward, as both of our teams match up right now, we're friendly now, but you're gonna hate me by the time Sunday night. As I look at what the Giants and the Cowboys game was, you in 2 games you got the bad and then you got the good of Russell. So that's what you got. You got the Jekyll and Hyde so far. You've already experienced that. So the thing about it is, I'll definitely know you'll speak up on it. Definitely let a game get away from you. But it's not to your fault. To the defensive fault. I just say, but they got a kicker that literally just get to the 50 and you're in range. That's insane. All right.
Yeah. So okay, a couple things. So I'll talk about the Chiefs a little bit and get some of your thoughts, and then I'll go into the Giants game. Mm-hmm. So we talked about this with Patrick Mahomes. The discourse has been throughout most of the offseason over whether Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. Despite the fact that he made the Super Bowl last year, despite the fact that he made the Super Bowl without a left tackle, without his best receiver, with Travis Kelce furthering on decline, he still made the Super Bowl, but he lost in the Super Bowl. And so the discourse is Josh Allen now better than Patrick Mahomes? Is Lamar Jackson now better than Patrick Mahomes? Et cetera, et cetera. Are the Chiefs going to win the AFC West this year? Maybe this is the Chargers year. Maybe this is the Broncos year. All of that. Now that they are 0-2, Nick Wright, the Chiefs guy, probably your neighbor, but finally, which nobody thought was going to happen, put Patrick Mahomes on the second tier of Mahomes Mountain. He put Lamar Jackson number 1, which I was kind of surprised by because I expected it to be Josh Allen just on record so far alone. Although they both balled out, I don't think there's a hard. I don't think I've said that the Josh Allen Lamar Jackson debate is like you could basically flip a coin, but
yeah.
But he put Lamar Jackson at the top and Mahomes on the second tier. What do you think of that? Do you still think that Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL? Why or why not?
Oh, no. And this is not a homer. Just name another guy that does what he does in the crunch times. Look, I love Lamar. Love what he does. He can't get past Patrick when it matters. Patrick proved that 2 years ago. I love Josh Allen's game. He's shown multiple times he can't get past Patrick when it matters. And I get it, and it goes back to that conversation, the value of stats over moments. But this is not just a moment with Patrick Mahomes. This is like that's his zone. He thrives in that moment. And more times than not, he's going to come out the victor in that moment. I can't dismiss that. And that's why I give Jalen Hurts a lot more credit than what a lot of these talking pundits do. Guy's a winner. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1, and he's beaten the guy that nobody can get past in the AFC.
Yeah, when he has the best defense in the NFL and his opponent doesn't have a left tackle.
I hear that. I hear that context. I hear that. And trust me, I hear that, Randy. But at the end of the day,
why am I defending your guy more than you're defending your guy?
No, I'm just saying when it mattered, just for me, I've always been about the winning part. I've always been about the winning part. I can't snooze at a guy who's winning Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl now, and he's been to multiple. He's been to 2, and he's constantly in the conversation. And I get the roster take, and I get that part of the debate. But at the end of the day, man, good teams going to have good players. You don't get to the highest level with trash. I can't dismiss what Jalen Hurts does for that team. And you know what? Just him coming off, just his vibe, watching him speak, I don't think he gives 2 shits about the stats. He's like, we won. Just like he told Chris Jones, oh, y'all need to get 100 yards. He said, well, we won the damn game. Shut your ass up. Yes.
Okay. So, because we're also, I also wanted to talk about this with the Eagles. So, while ultimately, for the purposes of the team, winning is the most important thing, obviously, it is important to see how a team wins, because that tells you how much you can project that winning going forward.
Oh, right now, Eagles are beatable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So let's look at the Eagles with the first 2 weeks. The Cowboys, people didn't expect to be good. Now, the Cowboys beat the Giants, and we're going to talk about that. But if Miles Sanders doesn't fumble that ball and CeeDee Lamb catches any of those passes he drops, the Cowboys win that game.
Yeah.
If Harrison Butker makes that field goal, then that game goes to overtime. Eagles are very beatable right now.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jalen Hurts is on a 2-0 team is not reflected by Jalen Hurts' individual performances. Jalen Hurts has basically done almost nothing. He had in that game where
passing wise, I can agree with you. Passing wise,
even the rushing stats aren't that impressive this year. Saquon has still been significantly their leading rusher, which has always been the case. He's still a good rusher. I'm not claiming he's not, but he's not the force of that team even in the rushing aspect. The way that like Josh Allen is for his team.
Yes, I hear you on that front, but he threw 2 touchdowns against the Cowboys, and you saw how his feet pretty much determined the outcome of that game. Even when they needed to close it out, and he took care of it. He pretty much, I saw somebody break it down how he, shifted Saquon out the backfield and put him out wide, and he knew exactly they were in man, so he can easily get the first down. But I just think, look, he does a great job of managing and being a quarterback, and he's not caring about the stats. I can agree with you that passing wise, he hasn't. He's not wowing. Yes, the accuracy and the efficiency is there, but the yardage isn't there. So because even in the game on Sunday, it was a lot of little dink and dunks. It was a lot.
They've had a significant amount of touchdowns within the 2 games. Not one of them was a passing touchdown from Jalen Hurts, and I think that's reflective. I mean, even when he does rush well, like you will even have to consider the aspect of having the best offensive line and last year's 2,000-yard rusher that open up opportunities for you in a way that nobody else benefits from in the same way. And I'm not taking credit away from him. He is a very good rusher.
Yeah.
100%. But even in that aspect, he benefits significantly from his teammates.
So here's the discourse, though. Is it fair to have? Are we putting that same discourse on Lamar and Derrick Henry?
I would say no, only because Lamar Jackson did it before Derrick Henry. Lamar Jackson did it with basically anybody. He didn't always have great running backs.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Because Lamar Jackson was already a 2-time MVP. That's a fair point.
Yeah, and he hasn't always had the best O-line. I mean, he's usually had very good ones, but not the best ones. He doesn't have the same passing game opportunities that Jalen Hurts has. Like he's usually always had like one good receiver and not a lot. He probably has the best receiving core he's ever had now, but he was able to do that even before then when Mark Andrews is like the one guy to throw to.
Yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there and see, gauge the temperature. That's a fair point. Go ahead. Speaking about the Cowboys Giants game, man, y'all it slipped right out the hands, man.
So there's a lot to like, even though that they lost. There is a lot to like there. I love that Russell Wilson is playing like he's got balls. I love throw last week out, throw all that dinking and dunking, that afraid to throw the ball shit. Again, he was playing like Giants Daniel Jones, who now I have to preface by saying Giants Daniel Jones. But he was playing like the Giants Daniel Jones. This week, he was playing like Russell fucking Wilson, and he was airing the ball out. Malik Neighbors had an incredible game. He's currently the receiving leader. The way that he was able to beat double coverage and get deep passes, including the touchdown that put them over in the fourth quarter. Wan'Dale Robinson being used as a dual threat. I mean, not used as a deep threat, which I love to see because he's always been this gadget guy who gets a lot of short passes. I've always thought he could be more than that. I love that they're using him that way. Awesome game from Russ. If he can continue that, I'm sure in most cases that would lead to wins. However, when all you need to do to win the game is to get into field goal range, you don't need to make super risky throws like that. And he cost the Giants the game with that end interception. And all he at that point, it's like, all right, Russ, we get it. But maybe let's start doing some dinking and dunking now. Like you only need 30 more yards. Like you can get that, and then we kick, and then it's over. Like you got to know when to stop. But regardless, I still really like what I saw from Russ overall. He just needs to know when he needs to get moderation better, I think, because at the beginning he was doing too much of pussy throwing, and then he was doing nuts on the table throwing all game in week 2, and it's just a little more of a balance would be nice, Russ. Know when to do both, but still much better performance than week 1, and I'm still happy with the direction. Cam Scatteraboo looked awesome with the rushing touchdown and his breaking tackles. I saw the memes Cam Scatteraboo plays like he wants long-term CT, and it really does. I hope he doesn't get it. I pray for his health and safety, but he is fun as hell to watch. So I mean, a lot of positive signs for the Giants, even in a loss. Even the O-line, the fact that they were able to give him the time to make those deep throws and get a much better running game going than they did in week 1 is a promising sign. Marcus Bowe and Jermaine Illuminor looked solid even without Andrew Thomas. Once Andrew Thomas comes back, skeptical optimism coming from me watching that game.
No doubt. I think I did kind of the vibes that I got when I rewatched it. It was like you said, and not to compare y'all to the Jets, because I think the Jets almost had a similar situation with kind of y'all. Like last week, they gave fan base optimism. We're like, hey, yeah, we lost, but man, they showed some things that we could build on. And then Sunday happened, and then I think y'all kind of went in the reverse. Like week 1 against the Commanders. It's like, damn, man, same old Giants. Here come this bullshit again. And then you like, oh, here's some things y'all can build on right here. Take that, build on that. And so I just think it's just going to be one of those things where you kind of just still just try to find the positives, master those, and then hopefully you can bring the negatives and turn those into positives down the season. I mean, you got 15 more. So, but quick question before we move on about your Giants. Where are you at on time wise putting Jackson Dart in there? Because you can't feel comfortable about putting him behind that offensive line.
That's kind of how I feel too. For me, it's not dependent on the win-loss record because I don't expect the Giants to make the playoffs this year. And if I don't expect the Giants to make the playoffs this year, then I don't think that we need to unnecessarily force change to get there. I would rather do it when he is ready and when the offensive line is ready to protect him. I wouldn't even think about it until Andrew Thomas comes back.
Yeah.
I think maybe from that point, I would consider it. Jackson Dart had a couple of throws, and I know Brian Daboll said that he wants to make sure that he's ready, so he's giving him reps here and there. I don't know if I would necessarily have picked that time to do it, like when Russ is obviously not a heater, and it's week 2. I like the idea of keeping him ready and just keeping the defense honest by just not knowing what to expect. I probably wouldn't have picked that moment, but I like the premise. I like the philosophy of making sure that he's ready and throwing him into games just because maybe I would choose games that are already out of balance in either direction. But I like that. I think I would wait until Andrew Thomas is back and then see what the offensive line looks like for a game or 2 with him back, and then I'd make the decision, maybe throw him out now and see what he can do.
Got you. That makes perfect sense. Very logical.
And also, since you mentioned the Jets, one thing I do want to mention, kind of out of surprise, and see what you have to say. Steelers defense.
Question.
Between the Jets game and the Seahawks game, I didn't think that we were going to be looking at the Steelers roster and being like, that's going to be an offense that's an offense that's carrying the defense. I was pretty adamant, like they were going to be like they always were, where the defense is carrying the offense. But Justin Fields and Sam Darnold both had crazy production against that defense. I'd be a little weird if I was a Steelers fan.
Yeah, they need to. I saw a clip. James Harrison. He said, "Man, this defense is bad." And I trust a word that comes from him because he would know a thing or two, being a former defensive player of the year.
I think that that might be the sign that this is the first losing season for them because they've been able to stay afloat almost entirely based off defenses carrying their offense. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers to carry that defense. I mean, he definitely couldn't against the Seahawks. So if this defense isn't good, we might be looking at Tomlin's first losing season.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the game, but 2 interceptions. I got to see what those look like. The defense was able to get Sam Darnold 2 interceptions, but obviously, if you take that Kyler Johnson debacle off the board, that's 24 points that they probably actually truly have. And then I did read kind of like a game recap where Tyler Austin kind of had a touchdown in his hand and kind of tipped it up and it got picked. So I'm gonna have to rewatch that game. But just in general, when you see Sam Darnold carve that defense up, Justin Fields carve it up, and then you look at his second game, and
you look at Darnold's first game.
Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so here's a common denominator: is y'all the defense. So they got to pick that up. Like you said, I look, their saving grace is looking at their schedule. They got the Vikings. Obviously, their offense was already dead. Well, they got Patriots this Sunday, so was they finally managed to put up some points last week, but I got to consider they playing the Dolphins. Vikings. You got Browns, you got Bengals in there. Obviously, we'll talk about the Joe Burrow injury. Packers are a problem. Colts right now are a problem. And Chargers, and they got them in 1, 2, 3 in back week. So that's a tough stretch right there. Bengals again, Bears. So they get some relief right there before they see Bills and Ravens back to back. Dolphins, that's a relief right there. Then they see Lions, Browns a relief, and finish off with Ravens. So that'll be a tough one for Mike Tomlin to pull his wizardry off right there.
Yeah.
And not a lot of reprieve right there in that schedule right there. So yeah, I think you might be onto something. It just might be the now it'd be interesting if this is the first losing season, how the conversation goes about his availability as a coach next year. I think that's the conversation that really comes into.
Yeah, because it's on the one hand, it's on the one hand, I don't know if I would blame Mike Tomlin for it if it does happen. It would, maybe it's the defensive coordinator. I would need to know more of the specifics on what happened. But yeah, I mean, if it's not getting you anywhere, and now you're kind of going in the backwards direction, and I know it's the Steelers, and the Steelers don't like to switch up coaches. That's just kind of the way they run their organization. Yeah, I mean, that probably is the direction they're going to go in. Whether they should or shouldn't is, depends on who's available and whose fault this is and all of that. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah, man. Are you buying that that the Lions are back after just one game against the Bears?
I'm buying it because, well, first of all, I mean, in my predictions, I picked them to win the Super Bowl, so I kind of I want them to be back. But so I think that the reason why they weren't good in week 1 is indicative of the same reason Jaden Daniels wasn't good in week 2. I think this Packers defense is legit.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers have basically looked like a legit Super Bowl contender, and their defense has been very, very much a part of that. I think that they were just able to really slow down the Lions offense, but I don't think that's necessarily proof the Lions offense isn't good. Remember, in week 1, the Bears defense looked pretty good, and they got destroyed by the Lions. Mm-hmm. So I think this just means that the Lions were still great, but again, Jared Goff has those games where every now and again he just kind of forgets how to play football for a little bit and gets shooketh. And I think that's just happened to be the week 1 game against what seems like a powerhouse defense. With Micah Parsons in his face the whole time, and the offensive line not looking like what it's looked like in the past. But I think that maybe is more indicative of the Packers defense than the Lions offense.
True say. It looked good in against Bears. It didn't look good against Packers. I'm just saying, buyers beware. Get through week 3. You gotta go to Baltimore next Monday. If they do anything, because look, last time we saw Baltimore, Detroit and Baltimore with Ben Johnson, with Aaron Glenn, whooped the asses. Baltimore whooped them up. So I know it's probably not the same rosters, but this time around, if you make it a competitive game, then I say, all right, they starting to look like the Lions that we've seen for the last couple of years. They over here get their ass kicked. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, player. Hold up, wait a minute. you might want to put some pimping in it. So just if they make it competitive, and for me, they don't necessarily have to win the game. Just make it competitive against a Ravens team who still, I think the reason why they kicked the shit out of Cleveland is like, man, we know good and damn well we shouldn't have lost that game. And defense went out there and proved a point against a weak offense, which you should. And now you're going to get a competent offense. So I think both of these teams should have some type of motivation or chip on their shoulder going into that game Monday night. So we'll see.
Right. Did you see that the Lamar Jackson now has the greatest rating of all time?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I want the narrative that's saying Lamar can't be a productive passer to just be dead.
Yeah, it's got to be dead. Like, we got to, like, he's a running back, whatever. Like, that's so obviously, like, and nobody who actually watches football can say that at this point earnestly. Like, we know where that comes from. Like, it's the same place it came from during the draft. Like, y'all were wrong. He's one of the greatest passers ever. And the stats prove that. Get over it.
Randy, they were crying for years. Oh, Lamar ain't got this passing stats. Okay, so now that he does, what's the problem now?
Yeah, they just don't like Lamar. And we know about the history with quarterbacks. We know why they don't like Lamar. Let's be real. That's why they don't like Lamar. It's
because he won't conform to what they believe what a quarterback should look and act like.
Yeah, key on look like. But also, since we were just talking about Jaden Daniels, I do want to talk about he didn't look that great against the Giants and didn't look that great against the Packers. Now that he has the knee sprain, it may be harder to tell because we don't know how many games he's going to play. But sophomore slump. Looking like a sophomore slump. Even though he beat the Giants, it was mostly because of the Giants' offense, not his incredible play. I mean, he fucked up that play at the end of the second, and he just overall he only got to 21 points at the last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, when I watched that game, and I made sure to watch the full game. It was. There were some throws that he like, damn, I missed that one completely. And he was more effective with his feet because honestly, that front four made him because they were like, look, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't believe in that offensive line that he got. I don't think it's really that great. Larry Tunsil was still getting beat, and if he's supposed to be your premier left tackle, Brian Burns took his ass to school week one. Took his ass to school. And then, I'm familiar with Nick Allegretti, their left guard. He's solid, but he was a backup here. He only got in PT because he was getting hurt. But he played solid and he got paid for it. Congrats to him. But that right side, I ain't too sold on that. So I still think he don't have the greatest of protection. So I think that plays a part into it too.
You think it's a CJ Stroud situation where it's gonna look like a sophomore slump, but it's mostly because of the O-line? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that he's going to be and now that he has the knee sprain, I think that hinders the fact that he has to be more involved in the running aspect because they can't keep relying on Debo because now Eckler's out for the season, and I forget the other guy that they had.
Bill, Jacoby Krusky Merritt.
Yeah.
Also known as Bill.
Yeah,
and I still don't get that joke, but I love it. I don't care
because they said the story was his homies said he looked like Lil Bill. So he just kind of ran with it. But he's solid. But I think that affects his game now, and not being able to be fully healthy in that running department because that knee sprain is going to change. It's going to have to change his running ability because you don't want to keep taking hits on that.
No, it's true. And when he comes back if he spends time away, whatever. Like we don't know if he's going to be as good of a runner.
Yeah. But it's funny that you bring up CJ Stroud. Damn a sophomore slump. I think he's going into the junior junkie year, whatever this is, because I haven't liked what I seen the first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't either. I'm still fairly sold on that the problem is the offensive line.
Oh yeah. Oh, now that offensive line is trash, bro.
Yeah. I'm still in the direction of if he had an even competent offensive line, he wouldn't look anything like this. Just because we've seen it in his first year, but then you get those guys like, I don't know, like Joe Burrow's always had a terrible offensive lines, and he still looks like Joe Burrow. Not that anybody thinks CJ Stroud's expects him to be as good as Joe Burrow, but look, we've seen great quarterbacks overcome that.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. But the difference is with this situation is that the offensive line wasn't good the last 2 years, and now it's gotten worse. So and to be fair, to give him some grace, and like you said, the good quarterbacks overcome it. Faced a good Rams defense, and he faced a good Buccaneers defense, and they're just able to key in on them and get pressure on them, is because that offensive line is just despicable. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was why I picked the Rams and the Bucs to win those 2 games, because I knew that they have good defensive fronts, and that offensive line is paper mache.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember if I Texans and Rams, I think I went back and forth because they both have great defensive lines and bad offensive lines. But
now the Texas defense,
yeah,
they nasty. They knock the piss out you.
Yeah.
They some headhunters, and I love it. That's old school football right there.
Yeah.
So,
and they're really lucky that they got it, because with the way the offensive line is and how much it's holding CJ back, that defense is keeping them in games.
It's keeping them in games, and it's giving CJ Stroud opportunities to try to go get it. But speaking of that game, I just thought that was just a good effort from Baker Mayfield, and he continues to make me a fan of him. And I never liked him. But the more and more he keeps playing, and the more he keeps wearing a damn Bucs uniform, I'm kind of hard not to like the guy, because he's playing damn good football. And
ballsy football too.
The 2 scrambles he had. The first one when he kind of came up lame, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson was talking shit. He wasn't fine. He wasn't hurt then. Oh, you talking? And he yapping back. I said, oh, okay. And then that big run to get that first down, I was like, that's grande cojones right there, man. That's Baker, man. I'm like, yeah, he's a footballer.
Yeah, fact. Yeah, no, I mean, he's looking, because I mean, right now we're in that whole debate of who QB5 is, and everybody has their different answers. Baker can work his way into that conversation. I've already, I'm hearing commentators mention him in that area. The stats make an argument for it. He's getting the wins. We could maybe he'll be the one to lock that spot. Maybe it won't even be QB5. If Burrow's out for the rest of the season again.
I was going to say that. I think you got to kind of start dropping Burrow off, because what's the best ability? Durability. And what you want, we got to get the conversation about the durability with ice cold Burrow.
So I agree that we got to talk about it, and I agree that. So here's where I stand on that. I think that if you're talking about who are the best quarterbacks in a vacuum, who are the best players at the quarterback position, I think that Burrow is still locked into the top 4 because of what we know he can do when he is on the field. If the conversation is who's the most valuable quarterback, I think that's a different argument. I think that now Burrow might be out of that argument because he loses value by the fact that he's not there. Like, obviously, nobody can look at last year and be like, last year not making the playoffs is like primarily Joe Burrow's fault, right? If he had like an even mediocre defense, they would have gotten there.
Middle of the pack.
Right. And I don't love taking a player and saying they're a worse player just because they're injured, because I don't really think that makes sense. But it does make sense if we're talking about if we're doing a draft knowing everything we know, would he be the fourth quarterback off the board? And maybe not now, because you don't know if he's going to be there. Maybe Herbert's past him there. Maybe Baker's past him there. Hurts, Daniels, Stroud, whatever, Stafford. They're all in that world of there's somebody who thinks they're in the top 5. That might be a top 4 now.
And I'm glad you went that direction, because I'm like, you can have that conversation to slide right now, Justin Herbert or Baker right there, especially based off of the first 2 games. But I just think in the sense of the conversation when it comes to Burrow, I equate it to the conversation about the greatness of Rob Gronkowski. We know how great he was, but we can't dismiss the durability part. And so that's almost a similar conversation that I'm starting to have with Joe Burrow. Is I agree with you wholeheartedly. If we're just talking about quarterback play, he's at the top of the charts with the top dogs. That's not the issue. Now, with his 5th or 6th year, and this is now his 3rd significant injury, and I'm like,
all to different parts of his body too, not even related parts of his body, which might actually be scarier, because it means that he can be injury prone in multiple different ways now. Like, any of those can be re-aggravated when he comes back.
You know what is similar?
Re-aggravated in more ways.
You know what it's similar to? His situation is a lot similar. A high draft pick, number 1 overall pick. Matter of fact, similar to a David Carr when he got drafted to the Texans, their inaugural year. Didn't have an O-line for years. Was getting beat up. So he was at the top of the stats of quarterbacks when it comes to hits, sacks, pressures, all that. Same thing with Andrew Luck, number 1 overall pick. They refused to get an O-line around him in the first few years. He was getting beat this shit up. His stats, quarterbacks, was up there at the top. Pressures, hits, sacks. You got number 1 overall pick Joe Burrow, 2020. His whole career in Cincinnati has been what? At the top of the charts of pressures, hits, sacks. When you get beat up and hit and hit and hit and hit and hit some more, and just when you thought you weren't going to get hit again, motherfucker, they're going to hit you again and then hit you again. And that builds up. That now you've seen 3rd significant injury. They still haven't addressed the O-line. This is their fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's their fault.
Yeah, no, it's true. And that's the thing. Like, we think of the Cincinnati Bengals in recent memory as a good team. Like, we think of them in that conversation of like the better teams, the better contenders, because they've had so far Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Trey Hendrickson. Although that the defenses have been bad, so he's given less credit. But the fact is, they're still not a well-run organization. They just got really lucky with a couple of draft picks and have managed. Like, the fact that the Cincinnati Bengals made a Super Bowl in recent memory, given how badly they run their organization, like, that's luck. And eventually that was going to run out. And if we talk about, I think that more teams really need to be willing to invest in the interior of their offensive line. I think that is a very undervalued, important aspect of football. Because if we talk about like the teams that have struggled the most with their offensive lines, a lot of the time it's the interior that's been the problem for the Giants, for the Bengals, for the Seahawks, for the Texans, the Vikings. Like, they all had issues with their interior line, even when they had tackles that had been drafted high that were playing relatively well. The interior made it fall apart. With the Seahawks, it was their center that got retired, and then the offensive line just fell apart because of that. Texans, similar situation with their center. I think that interior offensive linemen need to start getting drafted higher, because they are more important than people are giving them credit for. I don't care that they get the benefit of having help the way the tackles don't. your team falls apart when you lose them. It is much more important than people think. And if you look at like all of the best teams, most of them have good offensive lines. There's a reason for that. Burrow's basically been the exception in terms of great quarterbacks who had to work behind bad offensive lines. And then Mahomes last year, but even he's had a good amount of help in that area for the most part, right? Like he had the best center and the best guard in the NFL. What does he look like if you take all of that away? Well, he may look like what he looked like in the past Super Bowl all the time.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head, man. It's as much as there's certain, I guess, investments, enhancements, I guess, progression of the game. There's some elements that should always just stand the test of time when it comes to football. If you don't have the trenches, I think you're in a losing battle. Point blank. Period. It's come on. It's not meant to be sexy. It's not a sexy choice to get your tackles and your guards in a draft full of stud wide receivers and DNs and all that shit. But you got to block those good DNs. You got to get premier pass protection and run block it. And they're there, and you got to go get them. And most importantly, why do you not protect the investment?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I've said. Like what the Dolphins did is absolute malpractice.
Like
losing Armstead and then getting one interior lineman in the draft in the second round as your solution. The Texans, yeah, I'm so surprised that taking an offensive line that was already at the bottom of the NFL, trading away your best offensive lineman and replacing him with a rookie and basically doing nothing else except like getting a new coordinator. I'm so surprised it still looks bad. Like what do you expect? It's so crazy that they thought that was going to work.
It's asinine.
Especially when you have a quarterback who's one hit away from never playing football again. Like
ever again. And that's another thing you didn't address. You didn't address your backup quarterback situation. You need a plan B and C.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And then of course it close out week 2, man. Chargers, Raiders. Chargers look good. Their defense. They did have a slight drop off once Khalil Mack went out with that arm injury.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a significant drop off where it seemed like, they still can't play no defense. Derwin James showed why, in my opinion, I think he's the best safety. What's your thoughts on that last Monday night football action?
I mean, I expected the Chargers to win just because I think they're a more well-rounded team.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I want to talk about with this game is Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton were the two top running backs and both expected to be huge superstars immediately.
Yeah.
And Ashton Genty has not produced like that. Omarion Hampton hasn't either.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about the importance of O-lines. I think that's a big part of why we're not seeing that with Ashton Genty, especially. I mean, like if you watch him, when he's breaking tackles, he's making the cutaways, like he's doing what he's supposed to do to increase his ability to get yardage, but he's just getting dogpiled so quickly. Like the first level gets to him so quickly, and I think that it's a run blocking issue. I said that if you're going to take a running back, when the draft happened, if you're going to take a running back that high, you better make sure your offensive line is at least like a top 16 unit. Get the guys, and they made some O-line moves that I liked. I really liked Charles Grant in the draft, and they got one other guy. I forget what his name was. They made moves to address it, but they're really not getting what they could be getting out of Ashton Genty just because the run blocking isn't as good as what it should be. And I think yeah, Omari and Hampton, I'm not sure what the problem is there. I mean, I didn't particularly like the draft pick, even though I thought he was going to be good. But they should have an offensive line that could maximize it. So I don't. What do you think the issue is there? Why Omari and Hampton hasn't been doing that much?
First 2 games, obviously, I saw him against the Chiefs, and then I watched the Monday night game. I think he's pressing. I maybe it's just that he's feeling the pressure of I was a high draft pick as a running back. I feel the need to help take this team over the hump. It's kind of like no, just stay within the confines because remember Omarion Hampton, you just went to an 11-16. So you're actually on a team that has some good foundation, and I just think he's pressing because he has shown some runs where he's like, all right, I see why he went where he went, and then there's some runs like the game against the Chiefs, he ran out of bounds and stopped the clock for the Chiefs, and then they had to settle for that field goal. Ran out of bounds. It's like, bro, stay in bounds. You keep the clock running, you can ice this game. So that was a rookie mistake. And last night, put the football on the ground and kind of gave the Raiders a slight glimmer of life real quick. But a good thing for the Chargers defense, they snuffed it out. But I just think he's pressing because his offensive line, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, is not the same as Ashton. I think the Chargers O-line is a lot better than what the Raiders are putting in front of Ashton. So if he just kind of just relax and just trust the game plan, because if there's one thing we know about Harbaugh, he's going to run the ball. So you're going to get your opportunities. And I just think he's pressured. He just needs to know that, hey, man, you're going to get the opportunities. Just, follow, be patient. Because, he's also a rookie, too, where he needs to understand that, hey, man, you got to let the, O-line do their thing, let the play develop, and then you hit the hole. So I think he'll be fine because I've seen some flashes. I'm like, I kind of like how this guy runs because he's not going to be easy to take down. So.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. And yeah, I mean, so the reason why I didn't I've said, is the reason why I didn't like the Omarion Hampton draft pick is because I thought they really needed a receiver because their receivers, aside from Ladd, were so bad last year. This year, though,
Quentin Johnson found his damn hands.
Yeah, he found his hands. Keenan Allen turned the clock back. Like, this is a much better pass catching unit and also much better offensive coordinating, letting your great thrower throw. This is a scare. I remember I was the one that picked them to make the playoffs. You didn't. You said the Steelers. You thought we're going to make it instead. Do you still feel that way? Are you still confident in that?
I look. It just sounds weird, but Harbaugh put out a quote like, "Man, we needed that win so bad. It meant so much. Like a week 1 victory meant that much, and when you put that much emphasis so early in a week 1 game, and I get it. There's going to be times where, hey, it's the Chiefs. Oh man, beating them is everything. Hey, and this year, hey, beat the Eagles is everything. So I understand that aspect.
Right. Aaron Rodgers had that with the Jets. Because he's mad that they gave him everything, but then fired him when he was bad.
Yeah. Shout out to Crafty Southpaw, man. What's up? He said Rodgers and Fields both played like they shot their boats week 1 and came crashing back down to earth. Yeah. Crazy how things happen from week to week in the NFL. But no, look, the Chargers, I'm just being honest. Look, they are a legit threat to get this AFC West, especially now that they're off to a 2-0 start. Chiefs are at an 0-2 start, and they got the tiebreaker if it really comes down to that. So that week 1 matters now significantly. You just don't. Just what I've seen, for the last 7-8 years. You can't count them out until they're out. And you know, you just, until you see it for sure that they are counted out, you just don't count them out. Because I tell you what, they're not going on 3. It's not happening. But yeah, no, Chargers are legit. I would pay attention to that Khalil Mack injury.
Yeah.
Because even though he is on the older side, I think he was like 33, 34, he still was a significant piece of that defensive side.
Oh, for sure. He's their best pass rusher.
Yeah, pass rusher. He's their best. Well, obviously, because of age, I would say Darren James is their best defensive player, but he's 1B as the best defensive player. And you lose that. You also lose, there's probably some leadership qualities that's going to get missed. I mean, he can still provide that on the sideline, but on the field, it's a different thing. Especially when it comes to lining people up, getting them lined up in the right spot, and because he's that damn good. That's how good Khalil Mack is, and he's been consistently that way his whole NFL career.
Right, and he had the job of holding it down after they gave Joey Bosa to the Bills. Not that they got to use Joey Bosa all that much, but like that did add to the workload of Khalil Mack, and not having him too. Yeah, that is significant.
It's significant. So I'm not sure how they're going to address that. What they have already, whether it's on the practice squad or I'm not sure what's on the street. I don't know if they make a move to try to patchwork up that missing piece right there. Not sure, but I think that kind of, I'm not saying it balances out because obviously they got the week 1 victory, but losing Khalil Mack for some significant amount of time, that kind of slowly brings that defense back down to earth just a tad bit. But yeah, man, that's week 2, man. Great stuff, man. I appreciate always what you do for the show, Rand. As always, y'all know where to find Randy. You need some audio needs, man. Pantheon Asset, IG, Instagram. Go check him out. Y'all know where to find me on Twitter, Casey Wildcard Mar, all the various podcasts that I do. And hey, do us a favor, go on over, like, share, subscribe to the I.O.W Sports Network YouTube channel, and y'all can follow I.O.W Sports Network at I.O.W Sports Network on all social media platforms. Yeah. So on behalf of myself, the big homie Randy Weber, great Taco Tuesday, man. Hope you guys got some tacos because it's Taco Tuesday. You better have it. Anyway. Hey, y'all enjoy the rest of your night. It's already Wednesday on the East, but enjoy your rest of the night on the Central Mountain and Pacific time. And then I'll check out tomorrow, man. Other than that, y'all know what it is. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We out. Holla at you.
Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Como de lo cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar.